Here's one thing that I think people are missing right now in the world of college football. Texas and Steve Sarkisian here at SC Media Days today in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm so fired up to hear from them and hear the ultimate just buzz around their program. But I think one thing that's being missed when it comes to Texas in 2025, so much said around what Texas lost last year. And it's a fair statement. Lost starting quarterback. You only bring back 29% production on offense. You bring back one offensive lineman of your 5. It's not usually a good thing, right? So that's one part of this. But what people are missing is I think Steve Sarkisian really likes this roster, especially on offense. How do I know that? Look at what they did in the portal. Went out and got one wide receiver from Stanford. He's a good player in Mosley. Went out and got a quarterback who's going to be a backup. Okay, good deal. Went out and got a tight end. Awesome. If Steve Sarkisian didn't feel good about his offensive line, what would he have done? Gone to the portal. If he thought his wide receiver room needed some more help, what would he have done? Gotten more wide receivers. JD, there's less proven production. Totally true. But don't you think when it comes to offensive football, you trust Steve Sarkisian's gut? It's not like Texas is broke. If Texas wanted to go shopping and go grab some mass production out of the portal, they could have gone and done that. I promise you they could have gone and done that. Don't believe me? Go look at what they've done on the recruiting trail at the high school level. Last year, #1 class in America. Like they're good for it, but Texas is not hurting for NIL resources. If you didn't have the groceries you wanted at home, what do? Either go get more groceries or you eat out. Texas has done neither. Tells me they like their groceries. So when you talk about what this means for Sark and Texas in the future, I think last year, going into the season, what were we saying with Texas, man? Hey, Sark, we know we can call plays. You know, it beat Bama the year before. That was big. But, like, do they really have a roster that's built for it? We said if Sark won at a high level again in 2024, we would say he was a good builder. Okay, check the box, made the college football playoff again. You're a play away from tying the game against Ohio State. That's that. I think this upcoming season, we're past the builder test. We're on to the evolution test for Steve Sarkisian. How sustainable is what you've built in the SEC? And the way you test if it's sustainable is you go and see what your recruiting classes have been, right? Like you're going on, what is it, year 5 here for Sark? Like he's been around the block a time or two now, all right? Like we're going to actually see the fruits of his labor when it comes to what he's built at Texas. What's the core roster nucleus of this whole thing? We're going to find out this year. So if they do it again, that's where this thing starts to really get rolling. And Steve Sarkisian is telling you by nature of how he has not gone to the portal when it comes to the offense side of the football. I like my guys. I like my offense. Again, if Sark likes his offense, then I go ahead and lean that way as well. The only position that Texas went out and got in semi-bulk from the transfer portal was defensive line. Welcome to modern college football. Every single year, the good teams will make an effort to go and get depth on the defensive line. Like, that's pretty straightforward. But his lack of going to the offensive side for the portal tells me, like, I like how we recruited. We feel good about how we recruited. We're going to go with this, man. And so, again, this is the test evolution-wise for Sark and the SEC. It's also now a little bit of a footnote as to how we assess Arch Manning, because we keep saying it's fair to have higher expectations for Arch Manning than the average first-year quarterback. Why? Yeah, last name's Manning. That's cool. It's one part of it. But he's actually waited his turn, sat the bench for a couple of years, done the right things behind closed doors, and now it's his time to shine. When was the last time a 5-star quarterback sat the bench for 2 years and waited? Becoming more and more rare. Borderline extinct in modern college football, dude. And people are saying, what are they saying now? Like save the whales is one thing. Like save the backup quarterbacks that are 5-stars that are not sitting on the bench anymore. Save those guys. That's borderline extinct, if you ask me. But Sark not going to the portal that heavily tells me he feels like the situation is good enough for his first-year quarterback in Arch Manning to be successful. And so my point here is when we evaluate Arch Manning in 2025, there's not going to be a bunch of external excuses. There's not going to be he's a true freshman. He's not. He's pitting around the block now. He knows where his classes are. He's a 30-year player now at this point. Well, he doesn't have a good enough roster around. Well, that's not true either. Sark is telling you his roster is good enough. If it wasn't, he would have gone to the portal. So I think this is going to be a really interesting year for us to assess Arch Manning because we don't have those external factors to try to factor into how we assess him, if that makes sense. So people are missing is that Sark likes his offense. And if Sark likes his offense for the third time in this segment, I'll tell you, I like the offense. I like Texas. And I really love that defense, which is going to give them some time to gel even further. So just want to make sure we're all aligned on that, because it's kind of that time of the year where things kind of fly under the radar a little bit. And sometimes things go unnoticed that maybe play a major factor in what 2025 is going to be. I want to make sure we're aligned here.